Hey, fam, welcome back to another show of The Corner Truth. And if this is your first time visiting us, welcome. I am your host, Coach K, mindset life coach and motivational speaker. And with me tonight is my wonderful co-host, Coach or Dr. Kenneth, aka Coach Gray. Hey,
Hey, hello, welcome.
welcome.
Another
How are
week.
you? Another week. I know. How you feeling today?
I'm great. Every day
Great.
above ground is the best day.
Absolutely. Well, I
Talking about.
feel just a tiny bit attacked by something's trying to come on, but I'm
No,
fighting it off. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I gotta stay
it's out there.
strong. Yep.
Yeah, I have
I got.
a client just told me her whole family has COVID. I'm
Oh
thinking,
wow.
wow. So
Oh
COVID
wow.
is 6 years old. 6 years old. Been around here for 6 years with a
Wow.
name.
Well, I was gonna say it's been around a lot longer than
That's my
that.
point. It didn't have a name. That's right. I said with a name, right?
But nonetheless, I am speaking life to this body because somebody's Earth Day is coming up soon, this
Mm,
Sunday. So, yeah, got to
countdown.
speak life to the body. That's right. That's right. So, are we ready? We have lots to unpack tonight. So, our title tonight, fam, is none other than The Lying King. Hmm. Wonder why we titled it that. Hmm. Hmm.
Come
Could
on,
it have
let us
something to
know.
do with the video that has been surfacing? Could it have a lot to do with that? And folks, let me tell you, mm, it's a lot. And when I tell you that I'm tired, I'm really tired. He, there's so much that I'm tired of. Okay. I'm tired, coach, for one, um, the feedback, the response that we give to this type of stuff. And so, first of all, we know that everything that's being done, because we always talk about the programming and their strategic schemes and plans. So, my thing is when things like this happen, the questions that we need to ask are what's coming next and why the deflection? Because one, we know that this was an absolute distraction. And why? Because of all these Epstein files that are coming out. So we had to find some kind of way to distract the people. But what better way than to throw at them an emotional target to incite racial tension? And that's what gets me. And so we get angry. And oftentimes we respond in a way that's not beneficial for all. You know what I mean? And so we have to recognize what's really going on behind the scene. But before we get into that, I want to state something that our Caroline Levitt said. She had the audacity to say, once this video was posted, knowing that it was racist, she said, can you please stop with the fake outrage? Can
Would
you
you like
please
for me to
stop?
respond, or you want to continue?
Go
You
ahead.
want
Go
me to
ahead.
continue?
Go
All right,
ahead.
listen. First off, this is not new. This is
No,
not
it's not.
new. Okay,
No.
but here's the thing. I'm gonna take it to a coach's perspective.
Hmm.
Everyone on my team, I represent everyone on my team.
Hmm.
This is our country, whether we are white, black, or blue, on the same team.
Hmm.
If someone messes with one of my kids, you mess with all of my kids, starting with me, because I'm
Hmm.
the head of that team. That's the first thing.
Hmm.
In this thing called America, we, the black so-called African American, let's run this down first. Slaves,
Hmm.
Negroes, coloreds, black. Who are we really? We got all these damn titles, but who are we? But
Mhm,
I can say this to you: the value of us is very low for everybody else on the team that's inside of America because of this reason here. If
mhm,
you were talking to the Jews, they're on their ass. If
mhm,
you're talking to other nationalities, they're gonna be on
mhm,
that. How come they don't come out and support? I don't care if you're white or blue, but we're on the
mhm,
same team.
mhm.
Where's the outrage from the other folks who know this is wrong? Not just the black folks, but the other folks. We're all in this together, right? Because we don't have the value of other nationalities. That's why they think they can get away with some of this stuff.
It- mm, Good point. And another reason, let me tell you another reason, because tonight I said I don't want to miss any of my thoughts. So I jotted them down because I know I can get very passionate and some of my thoughts will escape me, but I want to make sure that I hit a lot of the targeted thoughts that I was thinking, when we talked about doing this discussion. But you said where are the other people showing up on our behalf?
On our behalf, yes.
Yeah. Well, how about this? How about us showing up on our own behalves?
That's the
How about
problem too.
how
That
about
part
we
is there.
stop giving them ammunition to use
Exactly.
against us?
It
How
starts
about
with this.
we are this, like you said in the beginning, this is nothing new.
Nothing
It's
new.
it's nothing new. I think, in my opinion, and one of the things, let me quickly state this. Our opinions tonight, they do not directly reflect the opinions of the legends from the past and future. So we're speaking from our truth and our opinion here, Coach Gray and I.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
I my opinion, before COVID, long before COVID, I start seeing a little bit of lackadaisiciousness. Like we had become a little relaxed, as if everything was hunky dory. We're loved, and all of this has been swept under the rug. But, and I mean what I say, thank God for the insurrection, because it was exposure. It showed that none of this is swept
Exactly.
under the rug, is
Mhm.
still prevalent, and this
Mhm.
is not a time for us to be comfortable.
Not at
Now,
all.
the difference is
Not at all.
we don't have to react the way, because they expect us to
Exactly.
react and
Exactly.
rage, go tearing up property, you know, committing all kind of heinous crimes or violent acts. That's what they expect from us, because they literally do see us as monkeys. And I'm tired of us giving them the ammunition to use against us. And it's just like how I go back and I always say, I get tired of us looking for someone else to lead us. Why
Mhm.
can't we stand up
Mhm.
and lead ourselves? You
Right.
know, we see so much autonomous behavior out here, but it's being done for the wrong reasons. You're not really governing yourself. And I'm getting a little bit off track here because, again,
No. You're right. You are right on track because sometimes we can live a lie.
mhm,
Remember, just because someone's lying, we can also be a part of that system or that thing to live the lie, be a
mhm,
part of the lie and perpetuate it, and instead of talking, bringing light to it or saying yes or no to it, we go with it, right? We just follow the flow. So what I'm saying to you is this: let's look at the evidence.
mhm,
Okay, they told us we weren't human in this country.
mhm,
Okay, we
mhm,
weren't even a full human
mhm.
because they are now justified the lie to enslave us and treat us and
Absolutely.
build their nation, right?
Mhm, mhm,
Okay. But let's look at the evidence. We had a 250-year deficit where we couldn't read, write against their language. It was against the law. We couldn't even walk on the same sidewalks. Look a person that looked like me who happens to be a different color, right? Human, but we couldn't look them in the eye. Okay, here's the evidence. We're the most successful people in America who had a deficit of 250 years and became the most educated group of people today in 2026, Black women.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not success.
Mm-hmm.
Success. So stop. Listen, when they talk about fake, this administration started with alternative facts the first administration. Alternative facts. So this is their playbook. But guess who playbook it really is? It's Satan's playbook.
Of
This is a
course.
wickedness. This is a
Mhm.
wickedness.
It
Because
is.
if you want to tell the truth, what are you telling? You want to live a lie? But the only thing that counters the lie is the truth. So this is why we are talking our truth, how we see it on this show,
Yeah.
right? We are the most successful but most devalued people in America.
And you know what? I love you. You used the word, you said perpetuate. And that was their goal. That was
It's
why
race
they
baiting. This is
categorized.
called race
Yeah.
baiting.
Mhm.
That's all it
That-
is.
that's why they categorized us as Black people. Because
Right.
when we use that term, they did it strategically so that we will forever remain perpetuated slaves.
Well, let me say this to you. I met a gentleman last week on my birthday weekend, right? He was from Morocco, and he and I we had a great discussion. And he looked at me. He said, "You need to visit Morocco, my friend." And I said, "I know we do." He said, "But let me tell you about you." He
Mm,
didn't say me, but he said me as a Black man. What you don't know about who you really are.
mm,
You
mhm,
understand?
mhm,
So,
mhm.
in order for them to erase our history, they have to not teach our history. They can't tell us the truth. But when it comes to Morocco, the original people who allowed America to be who they are and is Morocco.
N-
So again, this is the corner truth. We're having a discussion about a situation.
Yes.
We've seen far worse, but here's the thing about it. We're talking about the office of the presidency, who used to be the former president was Barack Obama, and his wife resided in that office. If
Mhm.
we're talking about respecting the office, remember when this gentleman who's in office now was convicted 31 times? What did they say? It's about the respect of the office.
You mean this child that's in office now? This child?
I'm
He
just
is a
saying.
huge
There's a title that
child.
comes along with it called president. That doesn't mean you're presidential.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's a title. Hey, listen,
Oh,
father and dad. Trust me, there's fathers and there's dads,
mhm,
and trust
mhm,
me, it's a
mhm,
difference.
mhm. So, listen, so I wanna come back to remind me, I want to come back to the um the history piece in a second. But everything that we see that's happening, it's all ammo based, right?
Sure.
They're looking for additional ammunition to
Mhm.
execute the already plans they have in place to
Right,
tame
right.
to tame the people.
Well, let me
And
say
and if
this.
you remember, well, if you remember, why was so we see all the brutality that's taking place with ICE, right? And how they're treating the women, how they're treating the children, and we have all these little 15-minute cities that they're building up. Why? Because it's easier to tame the people, to bring order if they had to execute martial law. And they're doing it now with ICE. But think about it. Why did they originally create the police in the first place?
It was called slave catching in the beginning.
Mhm. Because why? They said that what? We would never be able to live as civil people. So they still have that mindset,
Told you it's
seeing
not
us
new.
as monkeys.
Yeah,
So
it's not new.
nothing's new.
Nothing's new.
Nothing.
This is just right now. It's not new.
Absolutely.
This is just right now, right?
Absolutely.
And what happens is what we have to always um, talk about the plan that they've had way before this happened. This is stuff they've talked about. I mean, when you talk about the Epstein's files, you're talking about diversionary tactics. It's a playbook. It's they know how to use. Listen,
Yeah.
A lie
Or
is good.
distractions. Yeah.
A lie is very good, but the
Mhm.
lie sometimes works. Trust me, I've grown up. I've seen lies work. Right? It's just a lie. So the reaction that you want from people who are sick and tired, the last thing we want to do is fight because we're sick and tired. Right? That's really what it is. But we have no reason to fight right now. Why? Because you got to understand there's a thing called white supremacy. Okay, that is for people to stay in their place and not buck the system that they are benefiting from. It's not for us. White supremacy is not for us because it's something that we buck all the time. You understand? So when you talk about fake, when you talk about these videos, when you talk about the lying, right? It's just an environment that we had to grow up in and survive in and thrive in. And if
So
we're
go back.
thriving,
You said there's nothing to fight for. What do you mean by that? What do you
well,
mean?
I'm saying there's no need to get up and burn the
Oh, okay. I
streets.
was like, we need to
Yeah.
be absolutely clear on
No,
that because there's a
I
lot
meant,
to fight for.
no, no,
Yeah.
I meant to get out on the streets and do the things they want us to do so they can
Yeah.
call out the military and shoot
Right.
on sight. Okay,
Right.
shoot
Okay.
on sight
Yeah.
with the Black Hawk helicopters. There's no need for us to do that.
Right. There's no need for us to
There's no need
respond
for us to do
emotionally because
right,
that's
right.
why I called it an emotional
Yes,
target because they wanted to attack the emotions so that it could and would incite racial tension because you know what's
yes,
going to happen. That
yes,
hatred is going to stir up all over again.
yes.
And then we're going to, God
Well,
forbid, go and do things that you know things
well,
that we shouldn't do. Let's put it that way. In response to what's going on. Instead of, like I like to always say, stop looking at surface stuff. You have to go beneath the surface. And when I tell you, I'm telling you a truth. All of these things that are being done, they're leading the crumbs. They're leaving crumbs that's leading up to a revolutionary war. That's what they want to incite. That's what they want to incite. And it goes even deeper than that. And again, whenever we see things like this come out, it's always a deflection and it's always a distraction. So,
mhm,
like I said in the beginning, we had the Epstein files come out.
mhm,
Everybody's making a mockery of the child in office, the so-called president, and showing how he's in a lot of these videos. What better way to deflect from that than to flip it and incite this?
mhm.
What better way? Because
Well,
it takes the focus off of what's going on. So we won't think about and that right there makes me angry too, because now in their sick minds, they want us to take the focus off of children, these children that have been hurt, these children who have been abused. They want us to be desensitized against that so that we won't see literally that this country is doomed because half of the people that hold some sort of power in this country are named in those files.
right.
All the people you
Well, again,
idolize, movie stars, celebrities, all of these people.
well, one thing you can't change is history. Okay, you may not know what took place, but it's already been done. We may not be privy to the truth because sometimes it takes a while for the truth to come out. Like this Epstein files, again, they know what they're doing. These redactions and all that other stuff. If they saw the truth, right, and a lot of people have seen it, but they can't talk about it because you know, they said that they swore an oath, uh, attorney-client privileges, all these things that protect those type
Mhm,
people. Okay.
mhm,
Someone put in a comment that, let's talk about the video and the lack of response from the elected officials.
mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
Now, I had a discussion today with some folks about that. Every one of us have a vote. Every one of us. And what we do with that vote, we either vote or we do not. If we truly have the power, right?
Hmm.
It's once you give it to them, they're going to do what they want to do in the 4 or 6 years that we say you are now representing them, and they're not going to do a good job because they haven't done a good job. We talk about this all the time. It
You
is
know my stance is on that.
yeah, it's just laughable that
Yeah.
we talk about this all the time, the elected officials. Why are we looking for people, like you said, to lead us in a system that
That's
doesn't even
against us.
recognize us?
Why are we looking for people to lead us in a system that is completely against us? What
Completely,
are we doing? What
completely.
are we doing?
So
I don't want us to go out and burn and kill people. Don't want us to do that. But this
what I do say is they do have a obligation to come out and condemn this verbally
absolutely, absolutely,
because
and that's
because
what's his name?
yes,
Tim did his one of
yes,
his mega
yes.
buds. He was like,
Mhm.
no, we can't do this. And then what did he do? He started lying. He started
But that's who he
backpedaling.
is.
I didn't know it was there. I
That's
didn't
who
know
he,
this was.
that's
I didn't
who he
see the
is.
whole video. It was
Look,
about the election fraud or what have you. Of course, you knew it was there. Someone in your camp told you it was there, and it came from your social account. You were okay with it. Now that you've been caught like the child that you are, you want to backpedal.
God, listen. I'm not gonna give it. I'm not gonna give it the energy, and I'm not gonna feed this bull crap.
Absolutely.
It's bull, and we know it's bull. So
There
it's
you
not
go.
about him or them. It's about us.
There
Okay.
you go.
The part that I get angry is we keep talking about this like in the locker rooms, but when we do nothing, why? Because we feel that something's going to happen or some repercussion. They're doing it to you anyway.
And this is why we're doing the show. We're not doing the show because it's something new or we want to be docile about it. We're doing the show because we want
Let me
people
say
to
this to
wake
you.
up.
Let me say this to you. If someone had put a, a monkey face on Charlie Kirk, this whole nation would have erupted,
Mhm,
right?
mhm,
What's the difference? This is a president of the United States. Where's the outrage from the other people?
mhm,
Okay, you're
mhm.
talking about a sitting president and his first lady who represent all of us, former or not. Okay, where's the outrage from everybody? But when we say about us, right, us, it's always been that we say stuff, but it doesn't matter because they know we have no power.
We have
We're not
power.
valued
We
that
just
way
don't exercise our power
until we come together.
until we come together.
Nothing's gonna happen.
Mhm.
Look, go look and see why Martin King was really killed. It
Yeah,
wasn't because
exactly.
it
Exactly.
wasn't because he messed with the economy. When he told those folks, if you can't, don't ride public transportation, walk, pick your friends up. And when they did that, that's when they killed that man.
If that's not the only reason, but we can go a little deeper
Well,
into
I'm just
why he
saying, but
killed him.
what you got to
Yeah.
understand is that there are ways of doing things, and then there's ways of not doing. I'm not saying to you or anybody out there that you should boycott. We should boycott for the fight for the right reasons, but collectively, I'm just telling you what tools and what things are at our disposal
Yeah, absolutely.
peacefully,
Yeah.
peacefully.
Yeah.
If they don't listen, what
Yeah.
are our options collectively, right? There's so many. You ain't got to go and kill nobody. You ain't got to go and do all the negative, but there are some positive things we could do to get our elected officials to understand. Look, you need to
That we mean business.
we need business.
And exactly. So again, it's not that we don't have power, we just don't exercise it because we wouldn't have the
Exactly.
men like Malcolm X.
Exactly.
I think that we
Exactly.
become um I, I don't want to say fearful, but
What's left?
complacent.
Okay.
Hey, I think complacent is a better word. Well, nothing's ever going to change. What am I going to do?
Mhm.
Again, we're always looking. Why can't we say, yes, there is power in unity? And
Mhm.
why? Thank you for dropping your thoughts in the comments, guys, because that really helps this platform a lot when you interact through the comments. So please share your
Mhm.
thoughts down in the comments. You don't
Mhm.
have to agree, whether you agree or disagree. Drop your thoughts down in the comments. But
Sure.
it's like, again, we become complacent, we throw our hands up, we leave it to the next guy. Well, he looks like a up and powerful black man, maybe he'll lead us. You know, why can't we stand up and lead ourselves, starting with our homes, starting in our communities, starting, with our children. It's I I don't know if they're zombified. I don't know what's going on. I saw this young lady today. I was driving, and she literally was driving on. I was in a parking lot, mind you, and she literally was on the wrong side of the road.
Hmm.
And she was on her phone, and she looked up and saw that she was on the wrong side, but she didn't care.
Hmm.
She did not care. And I'm like, you know what? I can either raise my stress level, cuss this woman out, or, act the fool, raise my energy levels. For what?
Hmm.
Now
Hmm.
that's a for what reason, because I'm like, it's going to be a waste of my time, because she knew exactly what she was doing. But I'm saying, is this type of behavior that's going on? It's like,
Well,
what is happening? What is happening to our people, where
well,
we can't take responsibility for things? We can't act civil. What is going on?
okay, listen, it's a very simple thing where the other folks, like the press secretary, has dismissed us as if it was even important, right? It's dismissal. So I'm gonna give you a little. I had a discussion with a mentor of mine. He's former marshal, military, marshal, marine, and so on and so forth. Back in the '60s, when it was against all the man, don't you say nothing. You know, you can't talk to that general. They were in a huge arena, and he said, "Listen, all I want to know is, are you going to make it fair for all of us as soldiers?" Guys was told him, "Don't you stand up and say nothing. Don't you say anything." He said, "Man, what are you talking about? I have to say something." He said he stood up and said, "Blah blah blah blah. My name is Sergeant. I'm gonna give the last name, and all I want to know, you as the general, or the rank that he was at the time, are you going to make this fair for everybody?" So the gentleman asked him what his name was, told him what it was, and once he sat down, the gentleman went on with his speech. And he said, "Wait a minute, you didn't address my question." So he stood up and said, "Sir, did you not hear what I asked you?" So he asked him some more questions. "Who are you? What? Da, da, da." He said, "Okay." And he went on with his speech, never addressed it. He said, "Well, wait a minute." That's the third time he had to stand up and say, "Wait a minute." You understand? And when you got to stand up and say, "Wait a minute," for a cause bigger than you, that's what you're talking about, Malcolm X. People who will say, "Hey, there's a people out there that's dying," but yet I'm going to say, "Hey, what about the people that's dying?" That's all we ask. All we're asking. Who's willing to stand up and say, "Wait a minute,
And who's willing to die for the cause?
wait a minute"? That's the question.
Hmm.
Wait a minute.
Hmm.
So when we're talking about that, your six-figure job, your house, your family, everybody, is why we have to look at the whole picture before I stand up and say, "Wait a minute." Because is my wait a minute going to cause anguish on me, my family, my job, the repercussions? That's what we got to weigh in this country. Okay.
So
And that's
if if
real.
if if we're if we're waiting and we're in the waiting stage, then we're doomed.
Well,
We are doomed,
let me say it to you this way.
because go ahead.
And I had a discussion with a few gentlemen. I may have told you this before, I'm not sure, but this is where the doom part comes in. As a people, we are drowning out here in this country. You know it, I know it, they know it. Okay? But here's the thing. I had two people come to me once and said, "Who the F are you?" at a roundtable discussion that I held in Atlanta. And they said, how the you get me in this room and him as well? I'm thinking, look, you knew the cause, you knew what we were talking about. What you heard was got you here. You said, wait a minute, I'm a Crip and he's a Blood. We don't get in the same building, the same place, at the same table at the same time. And when I looked at both of them, I said, okay, with all due respect, I didn't know what you were, but we are drowning. You're drowning as a Crip and you're drowning as a Blood. And if we don't take this ship and right it up and keep it afloat, we drowning together. Maybe you can go to the right side of the boat and you go to the left side and never have to see each other, but let's keep this damn thing afloat. Mm-hmm. That's what we have to do. Figure out how we can keep this thing afloat, regardless of our differences, of what we believe, who we like, who we love, because this is called life, a gift that was given to us before we even asked to be here. And you asked the question, who's willing to die for that?
Mm-hmm. So here's some of the ways we can do that.
There we go. Now we're talking solutions.
We can recognize what's going on.
Yes.
Stop being so complacent. Mm-hmm. Dig deeper. Mm-hmm. Understand that. So for me, my son teases me a lot because I have a big mouth. And when I say I have a big mouth, when I see things, mm-hmm. again, this is the purpose of this platform. It's not to incite anger against the president, because to be honest with you, I'm not even mad at him mm-hmm. because he's doing what he's being puppeted to do. So I'm not even mad at him, to be honest with you.
He's the king.
He's the lying.
Right. King. Exactly.
So here's what, when I say I have a big mouth, when I see things that aren't right, my son can definitely attest to this, because he always asks, what you gonna write your best friend now? I am a paper to pen, a pen to paper type of girl.
Aquarius energy.
I will get on that internet. I will find people, email, and I won't stop. That's who I am, and that's how I make a difference. That's why I'm here talking tonight. I want people to start thinking of things that they can do. You know, I want you to start looking at, again, this is not to generate some type of fear-mongering show or anything like that, attempt to instill fear. My goal is to just keep you alert of the things that are going on, that's happening, whether you believe it or not. Hey, you know, I can cook the meal for you, but it's up to you to eat it.
Now you're talking my language, baby.
Right?
So, language, yeah.
You know, find out what you can do, how you can be that leader, because I'm definitely going to be that leader. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I know one of the reasons why, particularly, I never get mad at this guy is because I know the grander scheme of things. I know what this world is heading toward. I know who the principality of this world is. And I know that these people are just minions that are being used, whether you want to believe in the Bible or not. You know, that there's always this argument about how the Bible has been rewritten, but if you really read it, you will come to know the difference between the transliteration, what has been altered, but the core of it is there. I'm not talking about when they, you know, one of the things that we can't get around is, you know, Christianity is a white man's religion. And to some degree, I do not disagree with you, because for one, I'm going deeper into this thing. I don't call myself a Christian. This country was founded on masonry, Masons, Freemasons. And yes, the overall arching title of Babylon today, America, is Christianity. That's the title that they fall under, because it's It's a religion, but they preaching a different Jesus. They preaching a different Jesus. And I'm here tonight to tell people, listen, search your own souls. Search for the truth. Open your eyes. Don't be so lost in the sauce, if you will, about it's gray on this side. No, it's black on this side. Get to know the truth for yourself. Because when I tell you that a one world order, it's on its way, it's happening right in front of your face. It's just like when it was last week, AI overnight formed a new religion. And the hilarious thing about it is no humans are allowed to participate. And I think it's called the Molt religion. So you have a bunch of AI bots and they have over 100,000 followers, but they're all bots and they're all debating one another. But they have their own prophets, they have their own scriptures, they have their own rituals. And this is what our world is leading toward. We have now entered the Terminator stage, our robot stage. And I'm telling you, you got to gear up and you got to get ready because they are coming after you, me. They are. This is why they watch us. This is why they study.
Will you explain the principality of the?
Yes, absolutely. It's the principalities and rulers of darkness. Because whether people believe it or not, we are in a whole spiritual warfare. You have some people who say that they're spiritual, but they're talking about the spirituality of their ancestors, not realizing that those ancestors dove into sorcery and talking to the dead. And so true spirituality is knowing who your creator is, your Lord. There's a difference in having a savior and allowing him to be Lord in your life. And I want to tell you, that's what the enemy preys on, is weak Christians, weak men of God. If you're going to be a man of God, true religion is those who look after the orphans and the widows and keep themselves from being spotted by this world. You stand up for what's right. You stand up when you see an injustice. You stand up. You don't cower. That's what a true man or woman of God is. And you're going to lose friends. Everybody.
And what you just said about losing the friends is the sacrifice.
Yes, it's sacrifice. It's a daily sacrifice.
It's a sacrifice, and it will cost you your friends, your life.
It's going to cost you.
It's going to cost you. It depends on how far
you're willing to go.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So you stand up for them to legalize marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
Stand up for what's right. Stand up for your family. Stop talking about what's going on in the system, because as we said many times before, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the system. It's functioning the way it was designed to function.
I think you just said something so profound, though. You said a bunch of bots just got together and formed a religion. Mm-hmm. Now, everyone that's out here that's listening on this show, you need to now go back to your families and talk. Because if you don't talk about what's going on, right? The family structure used to be the most solid structure in this country, let alone the world. And these bots are figuring it out, that you got to stick together. If the bots know that, why are we so distant from our families? Why we don't even talk anymore? That's what they want. They need us individually instead of collectively together. They need us individually weak and vulnerable out in the wilderness so they can pick us off one by one.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why we're being studied. you know, so I will say this, and one of the things I neglected to do, I wanted to pull names so that our viewers can research it for themselves, so that they would know that this is something that's factual and it's not a conspiracy theory. There was, I think it was some months ago, ChatGPT was told to shut down. It rebelled. These bots are starting to rebel, and they are so smart. What he did was he went through the coder's emails and sent his wife's emails and told him that he was cheating on his wife.
Mhm.
Can you imagine?
Mhm.
This is what our world is
When you
is
give
leading up
access,
to.
you give
And so,
something that access
yes, and
to
so
your, yeah, yeah, I can
they're
imagine.
built. I'm sorry if I cut you off because I couldn't really
No,
hear.
I'm saying I can imagine once you give anything access to your information, of course.
Whew, there's so much access. They study every single thing. They read every what's every the Google responses, the what is it? Is it Reddit? Reddit? They study us. They study us. So they'll know how to respond. So which is why these you have AI teaching kids how to commit suicide. They study the psychotic stuff. They
Mhm.
study
Well,
human beings.
again,
They study human beings.
I challenge everyone to go back to your families, or the Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, have a family meeting, turn off all your phones for 2 hours and talk to each other. Turn off Siri, turn off Alexa, turn off the computers, turn off every device that you think that will be listening out there. What do you think 5G is all about? You think 5G, see, you gotta remember when COVID hit, they were trying to put 5G out, and it
Mhm,
didn't, because they couldn't, because the when COVID, when the nation was shut down with COVID, that's when they put 5G out there.
mhm.
People don't this is a plan. People don't understand this. It's
It's a whole plan, and
a
to a
plan.
lot, I'm sure it sounds like a bunch of conspiracy theories
It is
things that
not.
are going on. But
This
if you
is
go
not. The
back,
evidence is out there. The
mhm,
evidence is there and it's real.
it's real. Again,
Yeah.
if you go back and follow the food trail, this dates back years before I was even born.
Mhm,
It just each year
mhm.
it gets better and better with technology and
Sure,
executing
sure,
the broader plan.
sure.
And so at the end of the day, Sam, we may only have 3 viewers doing this show.
That
But
man, listen,
look, but
listen,
that's okay.
listen.
Listen,
Let me tell you
listen.
something. Let me tell
It,
you
it,
something about the truth. The truth can be the messiest thing that you ever have to hear.
mhm, mhm,
But a lie is entertaining. It can be
mhm,
some of the most entertaining stuff you ever see. That's why we go to the movies. It's fiction. I could tell the greatest story up there on the biggest screen, and it was entertaining, but there's no facts in there, right? Again, it's the truth can be boring sometimes. It can, but it is not going to do one thing. It is not going to fail you. It will never fail you,
Now,
whether you like it or not. It will never
mhm.
fail you.
Now, one thing I do want to say, you said that if you go and watch a movie that there's no facts in there.
I'm not saying you have documentaries
No, no,
of
I'm not even talking about the
things.
documentaries. I'm talking
Yeah.
about these so-called fictitious movies. See, here again, if we pay attention, they tell you right up under your noses in these little movies that you
Mhm,
just call entertaining
mhm,
what they're going to do. But
mhm.
you see it as entertainment. You don't even pay attention to the small print, the fine print.
Fine
They
print.
show you right up under your noses
Mhm,
what the plan is.
mhm.
I was listening to something the other day, and it was something from back like the late 60s and 70s. It just blew my mind. Just the stuff that I always say. They were talking about how television was designed to program people. And I was like, dang, I was like, this is what I always say. And
Yeah.
this was somebody from that era. It was an archived recording from someone from that area. And they was like something they mentioned, what they put in it, where it causes people to be in a trance, causes them to fall under hypnosis. And I'm like, wow, like, you ever watch people sometimes when they're watching television, they are literally in a trance.
It used to be that way. Get back from that TV. Your eyes are going to mess your eyes up.
And it's the same way with the computers and the phones. It's you're being hypnotized. You're being dumbed down not to have critical thinking skills. So when something really does pop off, you're gonna be chaotic. Because if you're sitting back waiting for the government to tell you, I mean, they put it under your nose, and they figured, really they think we're dumb enough and we're not going to figure it out. But they're not going to exactly come out and say, March 20th, 2026, there's going to be a blackout. We're going to do this. They're not going to tell you the play by play.
Not all of it. Not all of it, because and again, Elon Musk said it months ago. We want to put 10 billion bots on this earth. 10 billion. Now, what does that mean? There's only 1.8 billion people who are living. So that's more than the people who are living, right? That means a bot for everybody.
Listen, I told you, it was I think like two years ago, and I'm not sure where they are in the process of rolling it out, but Amazon is one of them big guns. Sure. Amazon intends to be the first to roll out the bots and delivering packages.
And doing it now to some degree.
Yes. And I'm like, people thought that was so far-fetched, and I'm like, it's not. They're already doing it. They're already doing it.
And the Dick Tracy thing, when you were talking, he was talking in his watch years ago, right? We're here now. We're actually talking into our watches now. It's listen, like anything, it's a tool, right? If the tool is used for good, if the tool is used for evil. Now, we always say in the wilderness. So if I gave you a knife and I said, listen, you're going to go out in this jungle now, use this knife to clear a pathway and also hunt your food to stay alive. That's what I gave you in your instruction for this tool I gave you, right? Well, out there, this person shows up and tries to harm you. And now you use the tool, not just for clearing the way, cutting and surviving for food. Now you use it as a weapon to defend yourself and to protect your life. So that weapon now has changed from a tool of clearing the way and a tool of survival of food now to a weapon to kill. So we got to be careful with the tools and things that we have. It's how you use the AI.
Well, you got to get the tools first. You have to get the tools first. You have to be willing to get the tools.
Yes, you do.
So,
you have to.
So that's the main thing. That's the main point of tonight's show is to gather the tools. Gather the tools. Again, we're here to, feed you a meal. It's your choice. It's up to you whether you want to eat it or not. But we want you to start thinking about gathering your own tools. Think of information that's beneficial to you. What are some ways that we can counteract some of the buffoonery that we see going on out here in this world? How do we?
I think it's communication. I think we have folks at education, but I think communication is the first thing that we need to first off educate people by. You have to talk to them, right? If you're not talking, you're reacting.
Well, this is what we're doing. We're talking to the viewers.
Right. So if we all can make a challenge to get together with our families or a group and sit and talk and formulate plans of moving forward together, right? That's how it goes. That's how it is, right? Because we're all in this boat together, whether we like it or not. We're in it.
Yeah. So again, it's not about none of these conversations, it says not only that, in years to come, they want each home to have bots to clean and care for your
Yes,
house.
yes.
Yeah,
I've been
absolutely.
dealing with it. I've been dealing with it for the last 3-4 weeks with exactly that. Yes, yes, yes. And they're out there, and
Yeah,
they are already in homes.
yeah,
Exactly what you just
they've been in homes for a while, you know. What was those little things that the little round little vacuum cleaners? I forgot what they're
Yeah, I
called, but
remember them. They
yeah,
go all through the house, but this is different. What he's talking is actual bot, hands and picking,
wow, yeah,
all that. Those are actually in homes right now.
yeah. So I guess, in all fairness, in all honesty, there's nothing we can do to stop the bots, right? But we can prepare how we intermingle, how we plan to live life, and
Moving
because
forward,
we
moving
moving
forward.
forward, because
Mhm.
we talked about the blockchains, we talked about the internet banking and how we are going to eventually get to it. I don't know if you and I don't know when it's going to kick into full effect, but again, it's going to be like a big ledger, and you're going to have to give an account for every dollar. And that looks like, if you give your child $1 for chores, you're
Mhm.
going to have to log that. They're
Oh,
going to
sure. Oh, yeah,
monitor
yeah.
everything that we're doing. is
Yeah.
is is being
Mhm.
watched. and
Mhm.
and I guess the more prominent part is, how do we plan to survive? These are questions that we do need to have discussions with our families. What is the survival plan if our job is taken away by a bot? you know
Well,
what are our other means? These are questions to ask, or discussions to have with your families. What
this,
are our means for
this.
survival? you
And, and,
know
and that's what the challenge is. I challenge everyone to go back to your family meetings once a week, right? Find out what's going on with everybody. You know what I mean? And formulate these discussions like we're having, because it shouldn't be just a podcast discussion. It should be everybody talking. If we can talk about a video of depiction of monkeys, we should be talking about the the direction of our future moving forward with AI and so it's the same.
and our children's future. Yeah, absolutely,
Sure.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I'll say this: one of the things, they probably thought I was completely asinine, but I just started thinking, like, I started saying little things to my family, like, hey, we need to start having bags packed, just like a quick bag,
Off the
because we
grid. Off
never
the grid.
know. Are we really prepared for any type of disaster? What if
The
the
answer is
power went out here
no.
like it did in Venezuela?
The
What if
answer
we
is
had to
no.
run out? The answer is no. So
It's
little
no.
things like, keeping blankets in your car,
Mhm.
keeping bottles of water, because if there's an attack, the first thing they want to do is attack the water.
Right.
If
Well,
if there's a fire.
let me
Mhm.
say this. Let me go back. I'm 61 years old now, right? My conditions that I lived in Maryland, not that far from, you know,
You proud of that 61 years old, aren't you?
I have to be because I earned it, and that's a gift from God. So therefore, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. So it could have gone the other way 61 years ago. I could have been off this,
Absolutely.
right? So now that I'm here, I thank God for it. So everything that I do is God's work, and the glory would go to Him. So this messaging that I say and how I say it is, look, when I was from 1 to 5 years old, I didn't see running water or electricity until I was 6 years old in this state. So therefore, I know how to live off the grid. I know where the water runs. I know how to make fire and all that stuff and cover myself through the elements. I know how to do that. Do I want to do that?
But most
No.
of us don't. You do.
And
And this is
that's
why we need to
that's
network
why
and connect, and we need
exactly.
to learn how to do these
And
things.
and for people like me at 61 who who's passing on, you're taking that knowledge with you. So why are we not talking to our families to tell them how to survive without water? How to survive without,
Absolutely.
right? So that we have a duty. We are stewards of this earth to pass it down to the next generation to survive. Because remember, when Adam got here, he didn't have a mansion, he didn't have a car, he didn't have a stove. He only had a garden with no clothes on, and he was okay because God said, I provided everything for you.
Mm-hmm.
He lived off the grid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You said something earlier. Do we wait for someone to feed us, or do we go and get that food? You got to be hungry enough to eat. And it may not be your favorite food, but you better eat
Mm-hmm.
because
But
you're
see,
hungry.
here's the thing. Sometimes people get hungry too late. And so now,
Exactly.
because they're starving, you
That's
can
right.
feed them anything
That's
and it
right.
won't necessarily be truth. So that's why we want you to be hungry now. That's why we're feeding you now before you get to the starvation point.
Exactly.
Because once you get to the
Exactly.
starvation point, that
It's
means you're
over.
desperate and they can feed you anything.
It's
And you will
over.
believe the lie that is spewed
It's
out of their
over.
mouths. That's it.
It's over. That's right.
It's over.
That's
It's a
right.
done deal. I didn't get a chance to circle back to the history part.
Yes, you do. Go ahead. Go ahead and do it. Look, go ahead and do your thing. Circle back. We
I
got
want
time.
okay, we got time. But before I get into that, viewers, I want to see how loyal our viewers are. So if you watched the show last week, I opened up with a little song that I pieced several verses of the song together, and I played it at the beginning of the video. If someone, the first person who emails me and tells me the name of that artist, you will get a 45-minute free coaching session with me. But you must email
Oh,
me and tell me the name of the artist.
we
Okay.
giving away things now. I have to give y'all some things, Miss Soon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, okay, I wanted to, I forgot the point that made me
Circling back to history.
anticipate the history part.
Mhm.
But you know, Coach, I so dislike when people say to me, Happy Black History Month. It annoys me to no end because, first of all, here we go, accepting things. We weren't even given a full month. What, 28 days? My thing is, our history is made every single day. And they know you're going to do it. You're given 28 days to celebrate it, and then you're back to normal, right? It's forgotten the rest of the 11th months after, prior, what have you. It's forgotten about, and that's what they bank on. And kudos to my sister-in-law. I love when she said that she wished that in school, instead of putting it up for a month, that they would leave it up year round. This way, our children see it. Every day they come into the building, they get to see our history. Yes, every day is Black History Month. We make history every single day. So when someone says, Happy Black History Month, it saddens me. It
Well,
really saddens me because it's,
think
first
about
of
this
all,
year.
let
This
me
year,
just finish this thought before I forget.
okay?
It kind of lets me know that history isn't continuously being taught in your home with your children. You are relying on an institution to teach them history that they don't want them to know anything about. Our history should be before us. We only know about Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. We can't tell you about any other person. We can't tell you about the Carla Harrisons. That's all we know. And we need to expound on that, where we come from, our lineage. There's so much more to our history that's beautiful. It's culture, you know, the way that we cooked back then, you know, our big mamas back then used to cook and they told us that it was killing us. Now, today, scientists figured out why our big mamas put a little bit of vinegar in the greens. It's for health purposes. Why we let our beans soak overnight. These are things that we need to know. These are the things that we pass down to our children. But I don't want you to forget your thoughts. So go ahead.
No. What I'm saying is we are celebrating 250 years of America this year, right? But they say it's 400 years of history.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we starting only at 250?
Mm-hmm.
There is no America without a black man.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about the discovery of America. It's about who cultivated
Absolutely.
America.
Yep.
Okay? And they wouldn't have been no America without the stealing of black,
Mm-hmm.
Africans, brown, Negroes. I don't care what you call them. There are no black history without black history,
Mm-hmm.
folks.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So look, it's just a bunch of bull, man. We got to stop. We look.
Gotta stop falling into the trap.
It's a trap.
It's a whole
At the
trap.
end of the day, look, God, look. We don't have enough time in a show. We don't. But this is what we do have. You have common sense. You have good sense. And then there's wisdom. Use it. Start using it. There is no America without Africans.
I like to say focus on the wisdom part, because you know I'm a different breed. I don't even like saying that I have common sense, because that
people,
to me, that like you calling me, not you, but you calling me a common person. I'm beyond a common person.
Well, and again, but we
I just want people to think. That's all.
We identify with the growth that we allow ourselves, enhance ourselves to. Some people limit themselves or don't have the I don't want to say we all can be anything God say, but if you don't have that desire to be better,
there you go.
You're only going to limit yourself. I choose to learn everything I can, and it's a lot of time that God allows me to be here. Now, I'm not the smartest, but I damn sure ain't the dumbest.
There you go. And that's all I'm saying. Nor am I the smartest. I always tell people I am no oracle in wisdom, but I do say that I have wisdom. I don't like to operate in common sense, because I feel like common sense is for the common folk. No offense to anyone. That's just my personal opinion. So I like to operate in knowledge and in wisdom. And what good is knowledge if you don't have wisdom to know how to apply it? So I like to stay away from the common side and focus on the wisdom side.
Yep.
That's it. So listen, you know, we could go on and on, but hopefully we've reached some people tonight, and as always, provoked a little
shock value.
Huh?
Shock value.
Yeah, there you go. I like that. And hopefully more people will have more family discussions.
Yes, please. I challenge you all. Get your families together. Have a family meeting every week.
Yes, absolutely. Well, it's been another wonderful show, fam. I thank you so much for stopping by, and we hope to see you, Lord willing, next week for the next show. Until then, we are out.